Multiple massive collaborations like A Ma Maniere, Travis Scott, J Balvin, and more are only scratching the surface of what Jordan Brand is about to unload for summer and fall 2024. Not only are we getting the return of one of the most iconic Jordans of all time, but we're getting even more iconic Jordans with pretty unique twists to them. Today, we're going to be going through the top 10 summer and fall 2024 Jordan releases, their release date, retail, resale predictions, and most importantly, how you can get your hands on them for retail. Not only that, but 4 of these are already confirmed to have shock drops, and some shock drops are already around the corner, so make sure you're paying attention to your alerts. For free alerts and sneaker guides, you could join the free Discord with the link in the description or by scanning the QR code. You'll also see a bunch of other channels in there to help you guys save and make money outside of sneakers, like a method to get free Chick-fil-A meals to give you a taste of what Endurance offers, which is hundreds of channels, much more than just sneaker reselling. I'm talking stock investing, sports betting, promotion exploits, Amazon FBA, price glitches, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. But now, let's get started with this top 10 list. We're starting off with a bang with a Travis Scott Jordan collaboration, and this isn't even the best Travis Scott Jordan collaboration that we're going to be talking about in this video. And with this particular model, we actually have multiple colorways. This is the Jordan Jumpman Jack Trainer, and the first colorway we should be seeing this summer is the Taupe Haze colorway, and it's dropping on August 22nd for $200. Now, when it comes to these, I am definitely expecting significantly less demand than what we saw on the original sale pair, and it's going to be less demand than what we're about to see on the upcoming University Red pair. And I'm not mentioning this pair because I think it should be coming relatively soon. But in addition to these, coming later in fall on October 4th, also for $200, we got the Travis Scott Dark Mocha dropping, and I think these should have pretty similar demand to what we saw on the sale colorway, but I would say still slightly less, although I should say that stock on these is supposed to be much higher, potentially even doubled, meaning that of course resale will take a hit, but nonetheless, I'm still expecting both of these new colorways to be profitable with at least a good margin, and I'd say the Dark Mocha more so than the Taupe Haze colorway. But we're not done yet. We actually might be getting another colorway sometime within summer to fall, and that is the white on white pair, also known as the white cream pair. As of now, there's no precise date, but I am pretty sure it should be happening sometime around fall. Anyway, these are also $200, and these should definitely perform really well, being a super clean white on white colorway. I'd say these are probably going to end up outperforming the Dark Mocha pair and probably the Taupe Haze pair too. Definitely going to be pretty hard to get your hands on these. And how you could get all of these, you could expect all of them to first drop on Nike sneakers, also drop on Travis Scott's website via raffle and select boutiques, and keep an eye out for potential shock drops on Travis Scott's website, because we did see them do that for the sale colorway during the Grammys, so that's always a possibility when it comes to these two. Next up on the list, we have the return of one of the most iconic Jordans of all time, and that is the Jordan 1 Black Toe, but it is reimagined. And unfortunately, the change that they made on this is not one of the best ones in my opinion, and I have a feeling a lot of you guys feel the same. And the change on this is that Air Jordan on the side panel, in addition to some other script on the other side, which I don't think is a big deal, but the Air Jordan in black really does bother me. I'm not a big fan of it, and I think it's going to impact demand pretty significantly. But anyway, these are dropping on October 18th for $180. Now, even though that is going to negatively impact demand, with a retail of just $180, and considering this is one of the most iconic Jordan 1s of all time, and it is in high demand still, I would say it isn't enough to make these brick. I would say these are going to still be profitable, especially in the large sizes. And not only that, but you could definitely expect these to have an early shock drop too, so make sure you're watching your notifications for them. Aside from the early sneaker shock drop, of course, expect them to have a regular Nike sneaker drop and drop at plenty of corporate retailers like the Foot Lockers, Finish Lines, etc. And of course, your regular Jordan Brand boutique should be getting these too. I'm not 100% what stock is right now, but I would suspect it's going to be pretty high on these, so it shouldn't be too hard to get a pair if you do want one. Next up, we have another absolutely iconic Jordan dropping, but with another change, and this time I really don't think a lot of you guys are going to like this change. Personally, I hate it, but considering they are a women's version, I could see a lot of women actually liking this change. Anyway, this is the Jordan 11 Bread. They're dropping on November 11th for $230 in women's sizes, and as you can see, the upper is going to be completely suede. Now, if you ask me, I think what they should have did was make the bottom patent leather and just the upper being suede, kind of like what we saw on the Prom Night 11s. If they did that, that, I would have definitely loved these, but nonetheless, they are still a Bred 11. It's an iconic colorway. In fact, it's my favorite Jordan 11 colorway of all time, one of my favorite shoes of all time, so I still had to include these in the list just because of the colorway. But let me know how you guys feel about this change. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of it, and I think a lot of people are going to feel the same way about it, and especially being a women's Jordan 11, these are probably not going to resell. In fact, you might even be able to get these under retail if you are patient. Next up on the list, we got the Jordan 4 Fear finally making its return on November 9th for $215. While this might not be the most iconic pair, it is definitely one of the most beloved Jordan 4s, being the fact that it is so easy to pull off, with almost every single outfit being mostly just black, white, and gray. I've always been such a huge fan of this sneaker, and the last time they dropped was in 2013. I wasn't able to get them, so I'm really happy to finally get another chance to get these. But anyway, a lot of Jordan 4s do tend to do pretty well, and I think this is going to be one of those. I wouldn't expect anything crazy, but I do think there is going to be room to profit off these with a subpar to decent margin, just nothing too crazy. Next up, we're finally getting another A Ma Maniere Jordan 3 collaboration. In fact, we're actually getting two colorways of them, and one of them is the burgundy crush pair, and the other is going to be the black pair. Now, these both should be dropping on July 18th for $250. A Ma Maniere collaborations are some of the most beloved collaborations that Jordan Brand tends to do. Personally, I've always loved this aged vintage look that they like to do on a lot of these sneakers, and it's really prevalent when it comes to these Jordan 3s. You see the yellow tone rather than a white tone, and not only that, but they really go to the next level when it comes to the details, all the way up to the insole of the sneaker. But with a retail of $250, it is really hard to say if you're going to be able to profit off of these. I would say, at least off of the white pair, there should be room for some profit if you're getting these on Nike sneakers with free shipping, but on the A Ma Maniere website, they are going to charge about $20 for shipping, and if you're paying tax on that, they might end up just being personals because they just cost so much. But if you're getting them off Nike sneakers, especially if you don't have tax, you should be able to profit off of these, especially the white pair. I do suspect this white burgundy pair is going to have more demand than the black pair, but of course, we'll see as we get closer to the release. Anyway, you could expect these to drop on both Nike sneakers and A Ma Maniere's website. Usually the Maniere site release is going to be a little bit earlier, usually a couple days earlier than the Nike sneakers release, and they do tend to do really great releases which are super easy to get manually, especially if you have access to the early domain link. That's something that Endurance always posted, which again, you could join with the link in the description below. And then you should also expect some other boutiques to drop these too. But wait, we're not done with A Ma Maniere just yet. In fact, even better, we're getting two more Jordans, and this time they're Jordan 4s, actually dropping on separate dates though. First, we got the Jordan 4 Phantom colorway. This pair is going to be dropping on September 19th for $250, and the next pair is going to be the Jordan 4 Fossil Stone. These are going to be dropping on September 28th for $250. Now, when it comes to both of these, I would expect them to have more demand than the Jordan 3s, and when it comes to both of them, I'd probably expect both of them to perform very similar, and that should be sufficient enough to be profitable with at least a subpar to decent margin when it comes to free shipping sites. And even when it comes to A Ma Maniere, where you might have to pay for shipping, I do think that these will have enough demand where you might even be able to make a couple of bucks off of that, but nothing too crazy because again, the retail is just really high already at $250. But aside from resale, I'm just so excited for these in general. I love A Ma Maniere collaborations. These have that same vintage retro kind of vibe to them. They look a little bit aged. I really like that. Let me know which pairs you guys prefer in the comments below though. And just like the Jordan 3s, of course, expect these to have an early drop on A Ma Maniere's website, then of course the full drop on Nike sneakers and some select boutiques too. Then not quite at number one, because number one is really great, but at number two we got the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low, this time coming in olive. This pair is dropping on September 12th for $150. In general, Travis Scott Jordan 1s are always going to have super high demand, but this colorway especially, and of course being a Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low, of course these are going to be extremely profitable with an incredible margin, but that also means these are going to be very hard to get. Of course, expect the Travis Scott website to drop these via raffle. Also expect to drop on Nike sneakers, and a bunch of boutiques should be getting these too. Don't expect any corporate retailers though. When it comes to all of these hype sneakers, I am going to be making full release guides for them, so just make sure you do subscribe and enable post notifications so you're updated on that. And I will also post guides with links inside of the free Discord, so definitely join with the link below. And then finally, at number 1, one of the most iconic Jordans of all time is finally making a return, and luckily there's no changes to it. This is the Jordan 3 Black Cement. These are dropping on November 23rd for $220. Now, obviously, when it came to the white cement 3s, when those dropped, they had a ton of stock, and they were relatively easy to get, and even with that said, you were still able to make a little bit of profit off of those. Now, apparently, Jordan Brand is supposed to be slashing stock on a lot of these models, and apparently the Jordan 3 Black Cement is going to be one of them, meaning these actually might be harder to get than we might be expecting, and if that is the case, these are definitely going to be very profitable. But I would say this is going to be one of the colorways that will have less of a stock slash, because I think Jordan Brand understands that demand for these is going to be super high. But aside from that, when it comes to personals, I think this is something we could all agree we need in our collection if you like Jordans. You could expect these to have an early shock drop on Nike sneakers too, and of course their regular drop on Nike sneakers with the majority of the stock. They should also arrive at tons of corporate retailers and plenty of boutiques too, even if the stock gets slashed. And finally, just as an honorable mention, I did want to mention the Jordan 11 Legend Blue. The only reason I didn't put it in the top 10 is because it's kind of leaning into the winter season, but if you want to be technical, technically this is a fall sneaker, so I guess we could replace the Jordan 11 Breads with these, because honestly that suede on the upper is really bothering me. But anyway, this is an absolutely iconic Jordan 11, one of my favorite Jordan 11s in fact. I mean, you can't go wrong with these being mostly white. You got that icy blue bottom matching the blue Jumpman. This is definitely one of the cleanest Jordan 11s of all time, also known as the Colombian Blue 11s, and they're dropping December 14th for $230. There should definitely be a ton of stock on these, so they should be relatively easy to get, but don't sleep on them because they are definitely going to sell out, and even with the retail of $230, there should still be room to make a little bit of profit off of the large sizes. But anyway, that's my personal list. Leave your list or just some of your favorites in the comments below, or any you think that you felt should have been in this list that I didn't include. And don't forget to check out the link in the description below so you can get free sneaker guides, alerts, and so much more beyond just sneakers too. And of course, feel free to check out Endurance too if you want to expand your horizons beyond just sneaker reselling as an entrepreneur in general, or just to help you save money every single month. Other than that though, have a great rest of your day, and of course, good luck on all these releases.